Hello viewers, nothing in character or any over-the-top production for this one. This is an update video letting you know what's happening with the Premier Wrestling Network, since it has been quite a long time since an episode was released, and updates have been quite limited. There's not one exact reason as to why there has been a delay, but the first and most notable reason is due to the constant shifting of the roster, especially with storylines and other plans. Viewers will know that PWN always tries to be very story-driven, however there have been many issues with trying to make a lot of these stories a reality. With the amount of time that is taken between producing each of the episodes, things are bound to go wrong for many reasons. Certain people become inactive, certain people take way too much time with sending you their voice lines for productions, certain unsavory people end up being outed or cancelled, I guess you could say, from this whole core space. People leave and go more undecided, and trying to run something like this as one person, with very limited help doing the whole bulk of production, is very difficult. Rant aside, their usual burnout and other commitments has caused significant delays. Now, I know a lot of you viewers of this channel aren't really involved in this whole core community. The viewer base is more from just YouTube itself, so I do apologise for all this nonsense because I know you don't really care about it, and nor should you. You want a show, and that's what I intend to deliver. With all this being said, since there is a backlog built up with about 2 years worth of original plans for the show, I'm officially announcing that 99% of these storylines are being scrapped entirely. I know that's not what many of you would want to hear right now, but PWN is trapped in production purgatory, and the best way to properly restart this show going forward is a clean slate. Now, does this mean that the show is going to do another reboot? No. The whole ruthless aggression aesthetic is still staying, as voted by our Discord server, of course link below in the description by the way. It was voted that we keep the 2000s ruthless aggression vibe, and I couldn't be more happier to oblige. What will be the case, however, is that the next episode of PWN programming, which will be the first intended episode of War, will now serve as kind of a reintroduction episode to the PWN, and the next episode after War will finally be the Aces High pay-per-view, which has been building for nearly 2 years now. Again, this isn't a full reboot or anything. Champions are carrying over. The storylines that have been happening will at least be acknowledged in some type of way, but a lot more notable storylines in the show being the Women's and Knockouts Championships, Kyle and Angel, the Garden, which a lot of you don't know about. Unfortunately, the ship has sailed, and it's for the best to just, abandon those. Now, production, unfortunately, has had to restart from the ground up again, so it's back on my horse and back to the lab for the time being. I don't have an ETA when these episodes will be releasing, however, you can follow the PWN on our Twitter and Instagram accounts as well. Of course, you can join our Discord also for further updates. Link, of course, all in the description. I can say definitely for now, however, that these episodes will be the same PWN production quality with that familiar 2000s nostalgia vibe that you know and love. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. Of course, thank you always for your continued support. I hope to see you much sooner than later. This is Fen, signing off.